What happened on October 6th? A lot of things happened on October 6th. You have Charles the Bald. Charles the Bald, the Holy Roman Emperor, also the Emperor of the Carolingian Empire. So the Emperor of the Carolingian Empire is going to die October 6, 877. Then you're going to have the Byzantine Roman Empress. The Byzantine Roman Empress is going to die in 404 AD. Elia Eudoxia. Then you're going to have Samuel of Bulgaria. The Bulgarian Emperor is going to die 1014 AD. This is in no particular order, of course. Bishop of Wurzburg. The Bishop of Wurzburg is going to die. Adalbero, the Bishop Adalbero of Wurzburg is going to die 1090 AD. The Archbishop of Pisa dies 1145. The Archbishop of Pisa. The Archbishop of Pisa is going to die 1145. Baldwin, Count of Moselgau. The Count of Moselgau. No, not the Count of Moselgau. Yep. The Count of Moselgau. I don't have a picture for the Count of Moselgau, also known as Frederick of Luxembourg. But the Count of Moselgau had died on October 6, 1019. Why are you all not down on your knees? Hear the angels cry. Wang Mang dies. The Chinese Emperor is going to die. The Chinese Emperor is going to die October 6, 23 AD in Engelbert. Engelbert, the Margrave of Istria. Engelbert III, excuse me, the Margrave of Istria died 1173. I don't see how you can't be sad when you've heard about the Byzantine Empress, the Emperor of the Carolingian Empire, the Emperor of the Bulgarian Empire, the Bishop of Wurzburg, the Archbishop of Pisa, the Count of Moselgau, and the Margrave of Istria. How can you not be sad when you hear about all these clergy and noblemen, all these rich and powerful people? How can you not be sad? How can you not be bursting with pity? October 6th is a day of mourning. I got a few details about each one of these guys. So who is this here? Engelbert. What do we know about Engelbert? Well, the Margrave of Istria, he was no Count of Moselgau, that's for sure. The Margrave of Istria, he was no Count of Moselgau. Engelbert III, he did nothing important to advance the public good. Engelbert III, we don't even have a picture of Engelbert III. This here is a picture of Engelbert I. So maybe his grandpappy did something. But Engelbert III, he did nothing of any kind of importance. Wang Mang is actually pretty controversial. He tried to do a land reform program, tried to abolish slavery, but he didn't do it right. He wasn't effective at it, so who knows how strong his, will and intentions on that front was. It's going to be a peasant rebellion. The Red Eyebrows are going to overthrow Wang Mang. Why are they called the Red Eyebrows? Because they painted their eyebrows red. A peasant rebellion. This is not a friend of the people if a peasant rebellion is going to depose of you. So that's the Emperor of China, 23 AD, October 6th. Let's see, Cardinal Baldwin, Archbishop of Pisa. So the Archbishop of Pisa, what do we know about the Archbishop of Pisa? Pisa? Well, this guy, he was known to increase the land holdings for the church. He conquered people in Montegnosa. That's in the Tuscany region of Italy. So he conquered people in Montegnosa. He increased his land holdings for the church. Pope Eugene III returned Montegnosa to Lucca after Baldwin's death. So even though he conquered the people in Montegnosa, Pope Eugene III is just going to return Montegnosa to a different guy, his rival Lucca. So he increased land holdings for the church. Which church? I'm not for sure. It seems like it was a church in some Russia, Ukraine, Asia territory, somewhere in the Far East. Cardinal Baldwin, the Archbishop of Pisa, and who is Count Frederick of Luxembourg. Finally, we get to the Count of Moselgau. Let me tell you about the Count of Moselgau. The Count of Moselgau, nothing was notable about the Count of Moselgau. Nobody gave a damn about him. He didn't do a damn thing. He lived. He shit on a stick and kept shitting on sticks and handing them out and say, hey, look, I shit on a stick. And that was it. That was the last anybody ever heard of Count of Moselgau. Adalbero, let me tell you about Adalbero. The Bishop of Wartburg. The Bishop of Wartburg. Bishops are warlords, right? The Catholics are just killing people left and right for 1,000 years. They get in good with the kings and the queens. They think themselves king and queen. They have their own personal armies. They have their own personal security forces. So this Adalbero, there's a big controversy at the Synod of Worms. At the Synod at Worms. Some people said, no, I'm going to go one side because of the Synod of Worms. I'm going to go the other side. So the Synod of Worms was very, very important to the Bishop of Wartburg. He was also known as the Count of Lambach-Wells. And that's it. There's a stained glass window of him somewhere. This is a stained glass window of Adalbero of Wartburg. So he got a stained glass window, made of him. That's kind of cool, right? He's there wearing a hat and his robes and he's holding a book. So Adalbero Wartburg. Then you have Samuel of Bulgaria. This motherfucker is intense. This motherfucker is intense, and you might not agree with my take on Eudoxia, but you're going to have to pick a side. You're either on the side of the Byzantines or you're on the side of Sam of Bulgaria. He was trying to maintain the independence of Bulgaria against the Byzantines. He fought against the Byzantines. He was a Bulgarian czar. He was one intense SOB. You could just tell. Look at them eyes. He's one intense motherfucker. Here's another, bust of Samuel of Bulgaria. The Bulgarian czar. The Bulgarian czar who's going to die. 1014 AD. 1014 AD. Sam of Bulgaria, he lived, and then he died, But he didn't just shit on a stick. He tried to save Bulgaria. He loved the independence of Bulgaria. He loved what Bulgaria was all about. He says, make sure you bury my heart at Wounded Knee No in Bulgaria. That's where he wanted his heart to be buried. So really we have no idea what the hell Samuel of Bulgaria looks like, but lots of different depictions. And he was, he fought against the Byzantine Empire. So if you're like, wait a second, don't you shit on Sam of Bulgaria. I like who Sam of Bulgaria is. Well, I'm going to shit on this fucking low-life piece of shit. The Byzantine Roman Empress. What do we know about the Byzantine Roman Empress? She was a goddamn fucking dickhead. Is that all we know? She was a Byzantine empress. So, the Bulgarian czar Samuel, he's going to fight against this Eudoxia. They're going to call her Augusta. They're going to say that she was the fucking goddamn new emperor of the world. It's interesting how the Roman Empire is going to die, but then you're going to have the Carolingian dynasty, and then you're going to have the goddamn Byzantines, and then you have the Holy Roman Empire? What the fuck? There's only one Roman Empire, and that Roman Empire is dead and gone. Except for maybe the mayor. Maybe the mayor of Rome could try to extend that nation city into a nation state and try to take over the world yet once again. Let me tell you about the Empress of Byzantine, the Roman Empress who died October 6, 404. She took bribes to stop a trial. So was it a kangaroo court? Was it a real trial? We don't know, but she took bribes. Which means if she was president, that's enough of an offense to impeach her. She was in favor of the Nicene Creed. She says, the Nicene Creed, I like that. She also clashed with the Patriarch, and she financed a bunch of anti-Arian processions in Constantinople. Not Aryan like the Aryan race, but the Aryan controversy, Arian. So she was anti-Aryan, pro-Nicene, and anti-patriarch. She was smarter than her husband, it was said. But she had a barbarian arrogance. So, okay, you're more intelligent than your husband, but you got a barbarian arrogance. If you're intelligent, then you know that everything is pretty much uncertain. You could be certain of a thing at the moment, but, you know, maybe it was the wrong thing, and that means you got to change. So, they said the pagan that became the wife of Theodosius. So who is this Empress of Byzantine? Well, you know, she did do some actually notable things. She sucked as a ruler. She didn't do any public works or help the public at all, but she did have some children. So 4 of her 5 kids survived into adulthood. 4 of her 5 kids. She died during a miscarriage, so she's actually going to die being a good mother. She was trying to produce more kids. So terrible empress, but a good mother. 4 of her 5 kids are going to survive into adulthood, and then, you know, because she was able to reproduce, then that means her bloodlines carry on, and eventually one of those kids are going to become king. There's something about Theodosius. I'm getting some things mixed up here. Theodosius was her son. So maybe Theodosius II, she was married to Theodosius I. Is that possible? Sam of Bulgaria, he died of a heart attack. He died of a heart attack. She died of some sort of fatal illness, some fatal virus or bacteria or parasites that got into her when she was having a baby. Last but not the least, Charles the Bald. Pope John VIII picked Chuck over Louis the German. They attacked Charles the Bald's domains. You know, as soon as they found out, oh shit, you picked Charles the Bald over me, Louis the German. So Louis the German revenged and just started burning down a bunch of houses and attacking his lands and domains. John VIII, the Pope, was being menaced by the Saracens. Oh, not the Saracens. Yep, the Saracens were attacking the Vatican, the Pope. And so the Pope, who just gave all the lands to Charles the Bald, was, you know, saying, hey, you know, come to my defense. And he shouldn't have done it because that's going to lead to his death. Charles the Bald is only going to be the emperor for 2 fucking years. He was the emperor for 2 fucking years because John VIII needed to come to the defense. And guess what? Charles the Bald takes his army, marches all the way to wherever the fuck John VIII is, you know, all the way over there, past the Alps probably past the Rhine River, probably somewhere past Mount Sinai somewhere, who knows? But when Charles the Bald gets to John VIII, even the nobles weren't going to defend John VIII. So not even his own fucking, you know, nobility, not even his own elite fucking guard. So basically, he really did need Charles the Bald. Charles the Bald goes there. I'm not sure if he was victorious or not, but then when they go back to the Franks, because he's the king of the East Franks, the West Franks, he was the king of the West Franks. He's going to die while he's crossing the pass of Mount Cenis. And it's Mont Cenis, not Mount. Mont, M-O-N-T, Cenis, C-E-N-I-S. So not Mount Penis, but Mont Cenis. Mont Cenis is just right down the road from Mount Penis. Isn't it all just one big phallic symbol, though? Isn't it all just one big phallic symbol? Bride's Tess Baines, October 6, 877. So he just died crossing a pass. Charles the Bald got to be emperor for 2 fucking years, tried to help out his buddy, fucking defended goddamn Pope John VIII, who, you know, gave him his lands. So I guess he gave him his authority, but once you had that authority, take it and run. Once you got that authority, take it and run. Maybe John VIII wasn't a good fucking pope. Maybe the nobles wanted him out, but then maybe the elites wanted him out because he was a great fucking pope. You can never know with these things. So that's a lot of people. That's a lot of great men and women with titles who died October 6th. So I'm sure a lot of people, especially in America, who appreciate things, to be rather be a house of mourning than a house of mirth. They understand how October 6th is supposed to be a great day of mourning.